Well, it was around 8:30 when Winston-Salem police got a call that there were shots fired here at Haynes Mall. That, in fact, was the case. We confirmed as we got on scene that somebody had been shot right outside of this Forever 21 store. The rain hasn't stopped. It has slowed down in the past 30 minutes, but again, we're in Yadkinville tonight live. This is Myers Road. Well, tonight we're standing on the corner of Main and Wright Streets here in Winston-Salem, and we just heard recently that it is a 15-year-old male who was shot and killed here tonight. You walked around just like this trying to find a way out. Drones are out, dogs are out looking for these kids. Take a look at your screen. We're going to show you exactly what they look like. A lot of gaps to fill, a lot of things to sort out, but you can see police still trying to fill the gaps tonight here at Thomasville Inn. To give you a little perspective, Kenny and Brianna, we're right next to Business 85 North where it merges onto I-40 in Greensboro. Right behind me, still a very active scene. This is right where the storms barreled through earlier on this evening. As you can see behind me, this home was caught right in the middle of it. You can see a tree in their yard was uprooted and the wind brought it down right on top of this house. The call came in around 9:50 p.m. tonight, and I can count over 10 police cars out here, all Winston-Salem police. There is one man inside of this house, still police trying to get him out. High Point Police and Guilford County deputies are trying to gain trust with their community while educating them at the same time. Hopefully some room in there, at least a little bit, because there are still thousands of people outside waiting to get in to see the president. Well, it continues to be a very difficult and emotional time in LA right now, and across the country, in fact. Well, up until yesterday, many area businesses were still left in the dark with no idea when their business would reopen. But now, with the reopening coming in less than 24 hours, the clock is ticking and the real work starts now. Here's the process. If you do get pulled over, officers ask you to do just a couple of things for your safety as well as theirs. The first thing they want you to do is turn on your hazard lights, turn off the engine, roll down your window, and turn on your dome lights. And when the officer approaches, just remain calm and wait for their questions.
License and registration, please.
So now we're going to put the sheriff's office drone to the test. I'm going to go into the tree line here at Tanglewood Park, and we're going to see just how long it takes them to find me. Okay, so I've walked about 200 yards away from the officer and their drone into a tree line here at the park, and they're going to start looking for me now. I set the timer on my phone, so we're going to see just how long it takes them to find me.
I brought the drone over to the edge of the wood line, and I'm going to just lower it down where I can sort of take a look directly into the woods.
So I'm sitting about 25 feet into this wooded area, and with their infrared technology, it's only taken them about 3 minutes and 25 seconds to find out where I am.
All right, I have spotted an individual. This is the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office.
Come out with your hands in the air.
Corporal Mullins has only been using the drone for a year. This is the entrance to the cemetery that's causing so many problems for people. And as you can see, if the train was here and visitors wanted to leave, they have no other way out. While cases of the coronavirus are limited in the United States, this is why churches are taking these precautions. They say if you sit next to somebody about 6 feet away, you can still catch the coronavirus from a cough or a sneeze. And in this church on a Sunday, it's hard to be that far away from anybody. So this is how the app works. Say there's an event that you're interested in going to. First thing you do is create your Fan Park account and see if the businesses near your event are using the app. Then if you're happy with their rates, you simply reserve a parking spot. And then on the day of your event, your spot is paid for, it's already reserved, and the hassle is eliminated. Here are the blueprints for the two-way project in Winston-Salem. And if you take a look from my perspective, you can see the first phase of the project will start on Peters Creek Parkway by BB&T Ballpark. The project begins with new streetlights, new marking, and surfacing the road. The city has the green light. Construction starts this summer. And strong storms came through the Century Park neighborhood in Kernersville. It took trees down with it. This house, for example, was one of the hardest hit with trees scattered through the front yard, even on top of the house as well. Since 2006, they've distributed over 100,000 meals, and they're planning to serve up over 60 turkeys just this week. Issuing the stay-at-home order is crucial to stop the spread of coronavirus here in the Triad. Guilford County School Superintendent Sharon Contreras really sympathized with parents tonight in Guilford County trying to keep their children educated while they're away from school. The Ramos family has become very creative, considering 3 people who live in their house have tested positive for the coronavirus. Meanwhile, the 5 other people who live there appear to be healthy. First thing anybody sees when they walk into the Smart Cuts behind me is a sign on the door basically saying if you work at the Tyson Tyson Foods in Wilkesboro. You can't come in. They are denying you service. Schools are shut down across the state of North Carolina. Outside of this building here in High Point, you'll see signs like this that say hometown heroes work here. Inside, you'll find new staff, some modifications to the building, and a handful of people fighting the coronavirus. The Ramos family has become very creative, considering 3 people who live in their house have tested positive for the coronavirus. Meanwhile, the 5 other people who live there appear to be healthy.
We have to clean everything every single time.
Marco Ramos lives in a house in Forsyth County with 7 other people, mostly family. 3 of them have tested positive for the coronavirus, and the family has had to improvise, taking steps to social distance in their own home.
They don't come out unless it's for the bathroom, to use the bathroom.
They put up these plastic barriers. Their sick family members stay in their own rooms for most of the day, and the family is not sharing a bathroom.
This is the back of our house.
In the backyard, you'll find a porta potty the family rented.
This is just a step to keep us away from having to use the same toilet as you know, my brother and my cousin, since they are sick.
Through one of the plastic draped doorways is the room of Marco's brother, Jose.
Yesterday, I went to go get tested for the COVID-19, and the test came out positive.
He says he feels weak, has a cough, and the worst part is the body aches.
Hopefully, my body be able to fight this infection.
Jose says he believes he got it from his cousin, who tested positive as well. And as Jose sits in isolation, his biggest concern is who he could have passed the virus to.
Not scared, but worried, just for, I guess, because I don't know how long I've had it.
Danny Jo is packing up to see her favorite team for the first time this season.
Go Hokies!
The 12-year-old from Mount Airy hasn't missed a home game in 3 years. With a little help from her big sister.
How does it feel? Good.
And her family.
Hokies, Hokies.
Danny Jo is ready for the hour-and-a-half drive as the unofficial cheerleader of the Virginia Tech Hokies.
For Danny Jo, this is the start of season 4 for her.
And while a 12-year-old going to this many games, living as far away as she does is crazy enough, Danny Jo isn't just watching the battle on the court, she's facing an extensive battle herself. Danny Jo has congenital central hypoventilation syndrome, a rare disorder of the nervous system that affects her breathing.
Part of her brain shuts down the instant she falls asleep, and you have about 30 seconds to put her on a ventilator or she dies.
All right, let's roll.
Grab some bags. Grab bags!
So packing up to go drive 3 hours round trip is much harder for her family than most.
With her medical conditions that she has, you have to be prepared for any scenario, any situation at any time. So we're bringing ventilators, suction machine, pulse oximeters, extra trachs, extra tubing, extra batteries.
3 years ago, Danny Jo was introduced to the Hokies program at an event for children with special needs. And now, every time she steps foot inside of Virginia Tech's Coliseum, all of her worries disappear.
Show them how to shoot it. Show them how to shoot it.
And as you can see, it doesn't take long for Danny Jo to cut loose. While the game is fun and all, it's what happens after the game that excites her the most.
How's it going? You have fun?
For 3 years, players have come back on the court after the game to meet with Danny Jo.
Can I get a picture?
Yeah, definitely.
One of her favorite players, Jalen Cone, a Walkertown native who loves seeing Danny Jo as much as she loves seeing him.
It means a lot to me, knowing Danny Jo, everything she goes through. She just shows that you can overcome anything because she's the ultimate fighter. She's someone I look up to.
Cone says Danny Jo is a role model to him, despite the age difference, and she makes him play better when he's on the court.
Today, I was missing shots in the first half. I saw Danny Jo over there on like the first, second row, and she was still cheering. So it kind of was like, Jalen, if she's fighting through it, like her trials every day, I got to keep fighting.
I guess it shows me that they truly love her and they truly appreciate the support and love that she shows back to them.
Fans, that concludes tonight's game.
Once the game is over and Danny Jo has given all the hugs she can give, it's time for the Hurl family to pack up the truck to start that journey back home.
Almost in the truck on the way home, it's like a mini bedroom for her.
Connected to her ventilator so she can sleep in the truck with her mom and sister, her dad says this is when he's able to take a moment to think.
I guess, I kind of reflect on you know, just how grateful I am for that we had the experience to come up here and do this.
While this is Danny Jo's home, when she's in Blacksburg, Virginia, it is very clear. This is her house.